more of what the article says in the New York Times. I think in terms of the tensions between black immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean and African Americans, I don't feel a lot of those tensions in the sense that I know a lot of people from the Caribbean and from Africa, and they treat, I've always felt they treated me fine. But I do think that there is a perception of African American people that people have when they come to this country. I think that there is a belief that we are ridiculous and as ghetto and as ratchet and as ignorant as they put us in, as they portray us to be in Hollywood and in hip hop music. I think that the music that's being marketed around the world is very bad, a very bad look for the image of African Americans. And so people come to this country and they're just scared of us, right? But it's not our fault because most of us don't do that shit. Most of us don't engage in the coonery that is presented in media. It is really the white man's decision who controls media. The white and Jewish community pretty much control media. So they portray specific images of you to the world that make you look like the savage, that make you look crazy, like in the movie Harriet, how they literally created a false black man, made up a black man, like literally made him up out of thin air and made him the most violent person in the fucking slave movie. How in the fuck, excuse my French, I'm sorry, I got to cuss on it, I can't take it, I can't. How in the motherfuck can you create a black man, literally make him up, grab him out of your imagination, and then make him the most violent person in a slave movie? That tells me that I need to revoke your license to ever make a slave movie again, including the black people who signed off on that script. Seriously, it'd be different if Bigger Long or whatever the slave master's name was. He had some crazy porn star name, but Bigger Long. It'd be one thing if he was a real person. It'd be one thing if he really lived and it was clearly documented that he actually stomped a black woman's head and murdered her in front of everybody. Because that's what he did in the movie. He literally stomped Janelle Monáe's character. He stomped her in the head. And Alicia and I were sitting in the audience. We were like, whoa, right? Like it was like jarring to see this violence, right? And if I acted like this, imagine what an old white woman would do. Like she'd probably have a heart attack in that mug. And so the thing was, it was like these are two people that never existed. Like you made these characters up. So what comes out of your imagination is a reflection of who you are and how you think. Seriously, like you ever see how teachers will have children at school and they want to know, like, is the child happy? Is the child being abused? Is the child mentally ill? And then they'll say, draw a picture of your mommy and daddy. And then maybe they draw a picture of the mommy and daddy as like monsters or something, right? And the teacher will be like, I saw these drawings. Little Jimmy drew this at school, and we're very disturbed by some of these pictures, right? And basically the same thing is true with moving pictures, aka Hollywood. What you put on that screen and what comes out of your brain is a reflection of how you see us and how you see black people. And so my point is to say that, that a lot of times I think that the diaspora is divided because you have legitimate grievance from African Americans who are sick of that shit of you disrespecting all of us because you think you're better than us. Because we know what happens in a lot of immigrant homes. Like, oh, don't spend time with those African Americans. Oh, well, you need us when you need us, but you don't want to be around us when you don't want to be around us, right? It's kind of like the movie The Black Panther, how they have the African people who are all peaceful and educated, and then you have the African American, who was Killmonger's character. When he comes in the room, they start playing the rap music, and he's taking a show. He's got this toxic masculinity, and he's stomping he takes the lady and throws her in the fire or whatever the hell he did, right? Like it's basically real. Like it's very real. And I think it's very unfair, and it's unfair to everybody though, because you were also lied to as well. But I think at the same time, when you look at it from a nuanced perspective, that there are many people from other countries who are ride or die with black people. Who live in the black neighborhood, who don't even see a distinction at all, who are right there with us. It's amazing people. People like, say, an Andre C. Hatchett. Andre Hatchett, we actually founded Black Men United together, blackmenunited.net. If you are a black man, it's for black men only. If you are a black man and you want to be strong and you want to join with other men who understand the principles of manhood, go to blackmenunited.net. Anyway, Andre C. Hatchett, is a guy who isn't African American, from what I understand, but he's a sturdy, strong man. He's a good brother, and I have so much respect for him. And there's other guys out there like that I've met from other countries, and I think it's kind of one of those things too, where I think African Americans, we can learn from those who come from the diaspora or from other parts of the world because they remind us of who we are. You know, when I meet somebody from Nigeria, which is a country that has, on average, very high educational standards, you know, I learned, oh, wait a minute, we're not supposed to be like these ignorant ass coon rappers on TV who can't even spell their mama's name. That's the image the white man gave you about yourself, right? No, we're supposed to be like the Nigerians who believe in the pursuit of educational excellence at all costs and all expense. That you got your last dollar, you don't spend your last dollar on a pair of Jordans, you spend your last dollar getting a tutor for your child, right? You know, when I see when I talk to my friend Nomalanga Mushali Moses from Botswana, Nomalanga reminds me of family, the importance of family. And I see her father, who's a strong African man who built massive amounts of wealth through intergenerational transfer of assets, particularly the ownership of cows. And I went to visit her family in Botswana, and it was just like being in the movie Coming to America. You know, you got the African look, it's very hot. And, you know, we went to a wildlife reserve and saw some amazing animals. But then, so I can literally hear the music like, you know, like in Coming to America, because I get to the house and I'm seeing, you know, Bentleys and Beamers and Range Rovers and servants and maids and butlers, and I'm like, this is so great, like this is amazing. And what she actually has continuously communicated to everybody, because she's on FlyNewBeingQueenTV.com, by the way, is that you can't really, it's hard to build power and wealth without family, right? And I think as African Americans, we are so inundated with excessive amounts of ridiculous propaganda, like that motherhood doesn't matter, that who wants to be a mother, oh god, no, you need to abort every baby that ever comes in your body, and go out and just have sex with everybody, and then abort all your babies and destroy your family. And if you don't like your man, if he makes you upset, you just get rid of him, because your kids don't need a daddy anyway, right? We're fed this nonsense about who we are. And so I love connecting with the diaspora because it reminds me of who I'm supposed to be, right? So anyway, let me keep going.